Hey guys, Sam from Manfa's Makes. How are you all? Happy Saturday. Welcome back to all my returners and hi to any newbies. On the weekends, I read you stories from Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. There is a complete playlist on my channel. Please do go check it out if you haven't already done so. And I also have a playlist where I read you The Wizard of Oz. Okay, so just a little disclaimer. I am just reading the words from the pages, guys. I am not saying that I agree with any themes, any opinions, anything like that. I am literally just reading you some stories because while you craft, sometimes you like to listen to an audiobook. So that's what is happening. I will be looking down at the table because I'll be reading from the book. There is no need to watch the screen. I am not showing you anything. I am literally just reading to you. So you guys crack on with your projects and I'll start with reading some stories. So we are starting today on story 130 and it is called One Eye, Two Eyes and Three Eyes. There was once a woman who had 3 daughters, the eldest of whom was called One Eye, because she had only one eye in the middle of her forehead, and the second 2 eyes, because she had 2 eyes like other folks, and the youngest 3 eyes, because she had 3 eyes, and her third eye was also in the centre of her forehead. However, as 2 Eyes saw just as other human beings did, her sisters and her mother could not endure her. They said to her, "You with your 2 eyes are no better than the common people. You do not belong to us." They pushed her about and threw old clothes to her and gave her nothing to eat but what they left and did everything that they could to make her unhappy. It came to pass that 2 Eyes had to go out into the fields and tend the goat, but she was still quite hungry because her sisters had given her so little to eat. So she sat down on a ridge and began to weep so bitterly that 2 streams ran down from her eyes. And once when she looked up in her grief, a woman was standing beside her who said, "Why are you weeping, little 2 Eyes?" 2 Eyes answered, "Have I not reason to weep when I have 2 eyes like other people, and my sisters and mother hate me for it, and push me from one corner to another, throw old clothes at me, and give me nothing to eat but the scraps they leave? Today they have given me so little that I am still quite hungry." Then the wise woman said, "Wipe away your tears, 2 Eyes, and I will tell you something to stop you ever suffering from hunger again. Just say to your goat, 'Bleat, my little goat, bleat, cover the table with something to eat.' And then a clean, well-spread little table will stand before you, with the most delicious food upon it, of which you may eat as much as you like, and when you have had enough and have no more need of the little table, just say, 'Bleat, bleat, my little goat, I pray, and take the table quite away.' And then it will vanish again from your sight." Then the wise woman departed. But 2 Eyes thought, "I must instantly try and see if what she said is true, for I am far too hungry." And she said, "Bleat, bleat, my little goat, bleat, cover the table with something to eat." And scarcely had she spoken the words than a little table covered with a white cloth was standing there, and on it was a plate with a knife and fork and a silver spoon, and the most delicious food was there also, warm and smoking as if it had just come out of the kitchen. Then 2 Eyes said the shortest prayer she knew, "Lord God, be with us always, Amen," and helped herself to some food and enjoyed it. And when she was satisfied, she said, as the wise woman had taught her, "Bleat, bleat, my little goat, I pray, and take the table quite away." And immediately the little table and everything on it was gone again. That is a delightful way of keeping house, thought 2 Eyes, and was quite glad and happy. In the evening, when she got home with her goat, she found a small earthenware dish with some food, which her sisters had set ready for her, but she did not touch it. Next day she again went out with her goat and left the few bits of broken bread which had been handed to her lying untouched. The first and second time that she did this, her sisters did not remark it at all, but as it happened every time, they did observe it, and said, "There is something wrong about 2 Eyes. She always leaves her food untasted, and she used to eat up everything that was given her. She must have discovered other ways of getting food." In order that they might learn the truth, they resolved to send One Eye with 2 Eyes when she went to drive her goat to the pasture, to observe what 2 Eyes did when she was there, and whether anyone brought her anything to eat and drink. So when 2 Eyes set out the next time, One Eye went to her and said, "I will go with you to the pasture and see that the goat is well taken care of, and driven where there is food." But Two Eyes knew what was in One Eye's mind, and drove the goat into high grass, and said, "Come, One Eye, we will sit down, and I will sing something to you." One Eye sat down and was tired with the unaccustomed walk and the heat of the sun, and Two Eyes sang constantly, "One Eye, are you awake? One Eye, are you asleep?" until One Eye shut her one eye and fell asleep. And as soon as Two Eyes saw that One Eye was fast asleep and could discover nothing, she said, "Bleat, my little goat, bleat, cover the table with something to eat," and seated herself at her table and ate and drank until she was satisfied. And then she again cried, "Bleat, bleat, my little goat, I pray, and take the table quite away." And in an instant all was gone. Two Eyes now awakened One Eye and said, "One Eye, you want to take care of the goat and go to sleep while you are doing it, and in the meantime the goat might run all over the world. Come, let us go home again." So they went home, and again Two Eyes let her little dish stand untouched, and One Eye could not tell her mother why she would not eat it, and to excuse herself said, "I fell asleep when I was out." Next day the mother said to Three Eyes, "This time you shall go and observe if Two Eyes eats anything when she is out, and if anyone fetches her food and drink, for she must eat and drink in secret." So Three Eyes went to Two Eyes and said, "I will go with you and see if the goat is taken proper care of and driven where there is food." But Two Eyes knew what was in Three Eyes' mind, and drove the goat into high grass and said, "We will sit down, and I will sing something to you, Three Eyes." Three Eyes sat down and was tired with the walk and with the heat of the sun, and Two Eyes began the same song as before and sang, "Three Eyes, are you waking?" But then instead of singing, "Three Eyes, are you sleeping?" as she ought to have done, she thoughtlessly sang, "Two Eyes, are you sleeping?" and sang all the time, "Three Eyes, are you waking? Two Eyes, are you sleeping?" Then two of the eyes which Three Eyes had shut and fell asleep, but the third, as it had not been named in the song, did not sleep. It is true that Three Eyes shut it, but only in her cunning to pretend it was asleep too. But it blinked and could see everything very well, and when Two Eyes thought that Three Eyes was fast asleep, she used her little charm. "Bleat, my little goat, bleat, cover the table with something to eat," and ate and drank as much as her heart desired, and then ordered the table to go away again. "Bleat, bleat, my little goat, I pray, and take the table quite away." And Three Eyes saw everything. Then Two Eyes came to her, waked her, and said, "Have you been asleep, Three Eyes? You are a good caretaker. Come, we will go home." And when they got home, Two Eyes again did not eat, and Three Eyes said to the mother, "Now I know why that high-minded thing there does not eat. When she is out, she says to the goat, 'Bleat, my little goat, bleat, cover the table with something to eat.' And then a little table appears before her, covered with the best of food, much better than we have here. And when she has eaten all she wants, she says, 'Bleat, bleat, my little goat, I pray, and take the table quite away,' and all disappears. I watched everything closely. She put two of my eyes to sleep by using a spell, but luckily the one in my forehead kept awake." Then the envious mother cried, "Do you want to fare better than we do? The desire shall pass away." And she fetched a butcher's knife and thrust it into the heart of the goat, which fell down dead. When Two Eyes saw that, she went out full of trouble, seated herself on the ridge of grass at the edge of the field, and wept bitter tears. Suddenly the wise woman once more stood by her side and said, "Two Eyes, why are you weeping?" "Have I not reason to weep?" she answered. "The goat which covered the table for me every day when I spoke your charm has been killed by my mother, and now I shall again have to bear hunger and want." The wise woman said, "Two Eyes, I will give you a piece of good advice. Ask your sisters to give you the entrails of the slaughtered goat, and bury them in the ground in front of the house, and your fortune will be made." Then she vanished, and Two Eyes went home and said to her sisters, "Dear sisters, do give me some part of my goat. I don't wish for what is good, but give me the entrails." Then they laughed and said, "If that's all you want, you can have it." So Two Eyes took the entrails and buried them quietly in the evening in front of the house door, as the wise woman had counselled her to do. Next morning, when they all awoke and went to the house door, there stood a strangely magnificent tree with leaves of silver and fruit of gold hanging among them, so that in all the wide world there was nothing more beautiful or precious. They did not know how the tree could have come there during the night, but Two Eyes saw that it had grown up out of the entrails of the goat, for it was standing in the exact spot where she had buried them. Then the mother said to One Eye, "Climb up, my child, and gather some of the fruit of the tree for us." One Eye climbed up, but when she was about to get hold of one of the golden apples, the branch escaped from her hands, and that happened each time, so that she could not pluck a single apple, no matter how hard she tried. Then said the mother, Three Eyes, you climb up. You with your 3 eyes can look about you better than One Eye. One Eye slipped down and 3 Eyes climbed up. 3 Eyes was not more skilful, and though she tried, the golden apples always escaped her. At length the mother grew impatient and climbed up herself, but could get hold of the fruit no better than One Eye and 3 Eyes, for she always clutched empty air. Then said 2 Eyes, I will just go up. Perhaps I may succeed better. The sisters cried, You indeed with your 2 eyes, what can you do? But 2 Eyes climbed up, and the golden apples did get out of her way, but came into her hand of their own free will, so that she could pluck them one after the other, and brought a whole apronful down with her. The mother took them away from her, and instead of treating poor 2 Eyes any better for this, she and 1 Eye and 3 Eyes were only envious, because 2 Eyes alone had been able to get the fruit, and they treated her still more cruelly. It so happened that once, when they were all standing together by the tree, a young knight came up. Quick, 2 Eyes, cried the 2 sisters, creep under this and don't disgrace us. And with all speed they turned an empty barrel which was standing close by the tree over poor 2 Eyes, and they pushed the golden apples which she had been gathering under it too. When the knight came nearer, he was a handsome lord, who stopped and admired the magnificent gold and silver tree, and said to the 2 sisters, To whom does this fine tree belong? Anyone who would bestow one branch of it on me might in return for it ask whatsoever he desired. Then 1 Eye and 3 Eyes replied that the tree belonged to them, and that they would give him a branch. They both took great trouble, but they were not able to do it, for the branches and fruit both moved away from them every time. Then said the knight, It is very strange that the tree should belong to you, and that you should still not be able to break a piece off. They again asserted that the tree was their property. While they were saying so, 2 Eyes rolled out a couple of golden apples from under the barrel to the feet of the knight, for she was vexed with 1 Eye and 3 Eyes for not speaking the truth. When the knight saw the apples, he was astonished, and asked where they came from. 1 Eye and 3 Eyes answered that they had another sister who was not allowed to show herself, for she had only 2 eyes like any common person. The knight, however, desired to see her, and cried, 2 Eyes, come forth. Then 2 Eyes, quite comforted, came from beneath the barrel, and the knight was surprised at her great beauty, and said, You, 2 Eyes, can certainly break off a branch from the tree for me. Yes, replied 2 Eyes, that I certainly shall be able to do, for the tree belongs to me. And she climbed up, and with the greatest ease broke off a branch with beautiful silver leaves and golden fruit, and gave it to the knight. Then said the knight, 2 Eyes, what shall I give you for it? Alas, answered 2 Eyes, I suffer from hunger and thirst, grief and want, from early morning till late night. If you could take me with you and deliver me from these things, I should be happy. So the knight lifted 2 Eyes onto his horse and took her home with him to his father's castle, and there he gave her beautiful clothes and meat and drink to her heart's content, and as he loved her so much, he married her, and the wedding was solemnized with great rejoicing. When 2 Eyes was thus carried away by the handsome knight, her 2 sisters grudged her good fortune in downright earnest. The wonderful tree, however, still remains with us, thought they, and even if we can gather no fruit from it, still every one will stand still and look at it, and come to us and admire it. Who knows what good things may be in store for us? But next morning the tree had vanished, and all their hopes were at an end. And when 2 Eyes looked out of the window of her own little room, to her great delight it was standing in front of it, and so it had followed her. 2 Eyes lived a long time in happiness. Once 2 poor women came to her in her castle and begged for alms. She looked in their faces and recognized her sisters, 1 Eye and 3 Eyes, who had fallen into such poverty that they had to wander about and beg their bread from door to door. 2 Eyes, however, made them welcome, and was kind to them and took care of them, so that they both with all their hearts repented the evil that they had done their sister in their youth. There we go, guys. Okay. Just looking to see how many more I am going to do. Oh my goodness, my dolly jumped off the shelf. Oh! Let's put you back. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to have a brief drink and then we will carry on. Okay, the next story is a short one. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the title right, but We will go with it. It's called Fair Katrinelje and Pif-Paf-Poltrie. Good day, Father Hollenthe. Many thanks, Pif-Paf-Poltrie. May I be allowed to have your daughter? Oh yes, if Mother Malcho, Milch Cow, Brother High and Mighty, Sister Casetrout, and fair Katrinelje are willing, you can have her. Where is Mother Malcho then? She is in the cow-house milking the cow. Good day, Mother Malcho. Many thanks, Pif-Paf-Poltrie. May I be allowed to have your daughter? Oh yes, if Father Hollenthe, Brother High and Mighty, Sister Casetrout, and fair Katrinelje are willing, you can have her. Where is Brother High and Mighty then? He is in the room chopping some wood. Good day, Brother High and Mighty. Many thanks, Pif-Paf-Poltrie. May I be allowed to have your sister? Oh yes, if Father Hollenthe, Mother Malcho, Sister Casetrout, and fair Katrinelje are willing, you can have her. Where is Sister Casetrout then? She is in the garden cutting cabbages. Good day, Sister Casetrout. Many thanks, Pif-Paf-Poltrie. May I be allowed to have your sister? Oh yes, if Father Hollenthe, Mother Malcho, Brother High and Mighty, and fair Katrinelje are willing, you may have her. Where is fair Katrinelje then? She is in the room counting out her farthings. Good day, fair Katrinelje. Many thanks, Pif-Paf-Poltrie. Will you be my bride? Oh yes, if Father Hollenthe, Mother Malcho, Brother High and Mighty, and Sister Casetrout are willing, I am ready. Fair Katrinelje, how much dowry do you have? 14 farthings in ready money, 3.5 groschen owing to me, half a pound of dried apples, a handful of fried bread, and a handful of spices. And many other things are mine. Have I not a dowry fine? Pif-Paf-Poltrie, what is your trade? Are you a tailor? Something better. A shoemaker? Something better. A husbandman? Something better. A joiner? Something better. A smith? Something better. A miller? Something better. Perhaps a broom maker. Yes, that's what I am. Is it not a fine trade? That's a slightly bizarre story. Okay, and the next one is story 132, and it is The Fox and the Horse. A peasant had a faithful horse which had grown old and could do no more work, so his master would no longer give him anything to eat, and said, I can certainly make no more use of you, but still I mean well by you. If you prove yourself still strong enough to bring me a lion here, I will maintain you, but now take yourself away out of my stable. And with that he chased him into the open country. The horse was sad and went to the forest to seek a little protection there from the weather. There a fox met him and said, Why do you hang your head so, and go about all alone? Alas, replied the horse, greed and fidelity do not dwell together in one house. My master has forgotten what services I have performed for him for so many years, and because I can no longer plough well, he will give me no more food and has driven me out. Without giving you a chance? Asked the fox. The chance was a bad one. He said if I was still strong enough to bring him a lion, he would keep me, but he well knows that I cannot do that. The fox said, I will help you. Just lay yourself down, stretch yourself out as if you were dead, and do not stir. The horse did as the fox desired, and the fox went to the lion, who had his den not far off, and said, A dead horse is lying outside there. Just come with me, you can have a rich meal. The lion went with him, and when they were both standing by the horse, the fox said, After all, it is not very comfortable for you here, I tell you. I'll tell you what, I will fasten it to you by the tail, and then you can drag it into your cave and devour it in peace. This advice pleased the lion. He lay down, and in order that the fox might tie the horse fast to him, he kept quite quiet. But the fox tied the lion's legs together with the horse's tail, and twisted and fastened all so well and so strongly that no strength could break it. When he had finished his work, he tapped the horse on the shoulder and said, Pull, white horse, pull. Then up sprang the horse at once and drew the lion away with him. The lion began to roar so that all the birds in the forest flew out in terror, but the horse let him roar and drew him and dragged him over the country to his master's door. When the master saw the lion, he was of a better mind, and said to the horse, You shall stay with me and farewell, and he gave him plenty to eat until he died. I'm going to leave it there for today, guys. I have got a lot of things that I need to catch up with and a lot of things to do. I hope you enjoyed your stories today, and there will of course be more stories tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me and spending your precious time here on this wonderful Saturday. I hope you are getting a lot of crafting done and that you are having lots of fun. I will of course see you tomorrow. So until then, stay safe, be kind, look after one another, get some good quality time in with your loved ones and get some good quality crafting time in. I will see you in the next one or around the YouTube streets. Bye guys, love you.